Hi friends! I am so excited you're here today because I have a massive book on haul, as you can see. You can't even see all the books that need to be unhauled here. There's more behind it. I believe it's about 70 books or so. But before I get into the unhaul, I just want to thank today's sponsor of the video, Zinff Optical. Zinff Optical is an online glasses retailer, prescription glass retailer, and sunglasses that offer a wide variety of different designs. Right now they have out their autumn collection, which is really cool looking. I personally had a very tough time deciding on my frames, and I ended up going with the Aphrodite. And yeah, there's so much to choose from here, and they're all very stylish. You could find a pair of glasses to go with any outfit. So one of the first things I noticed when I got in my glasses was how eco-friendly it actually was. This case, it's like cardboard insides out, but it's still nice and elegant, and your glasses are safe inside with the clean, I don't know what to call it, I guess the little thing you clean your glasses with. And yeah, so I was very impressed with the packaging and overall comfiness of the frames. I usually would do the different, I don't know what they're called, but they're like the detached nose things here, but I've realized over the years I end up bending those because I am so rough on things. Zinff was nice enough to give me some time to actually test these out for a while before I talked about them, and yeah, they clean really easily. I got like the scratch proof stuff, and all of the lens stuff on it, and these are some of the best lenses I've ever had. They don't fog up, and yeah, they're great. I love the little detail on the side here, and yeah, just overall super comfy and stylish. So as a gift from Zinff Optical, they've given me 25% off discount code that is in the description box down below that you can apply to your next glasses order. So as per usual for my unhauls, most of these will be donated in little free libraries. Some will be on my Pango, which will be listed in the description box down below. And some I will attempt to trade in at my local bookstore. That just hasn't happened in a while. So I doubt that will actually happen with these. Most of these will probably be donated, honestly. But getting right into it, I have a bunch of, oh gosh, of Jim Butcher books. This is the paranormal investigator, I guess monster of the week if it was a TV show. This would be it. And yeah, I read the first two like years ago when I read fantasy still, and they were okay. I think they were great for getting out of a slump. And yeah, they were really funny and pretty whimsical, and yeah, just that like detective style story, but I don't see myself reading like 15 more of them, so I'm unhauling these. Okay, another Tammy Hogue book. I have been unhauling some Tammy Hogue books recently because I just don't think I'm ever going to read them. If I do, I would do the audio. And then Karen Slaughter as well. Again, if I ever have the need to read this, I will probably try to do like a Libby loan on it. And then Carnosaur by Harry Adam Knight. This was just a 3-star for me. I read it back in March for my dinosaur reading vlog, and I was very like meh about it. And yeah, I don't need it anymore. I don't need dinosaur books anymore right now. And then The Accursed by Joyce Carol Oates. I read this last year and I really liked it. It was like bonkers. It was so crazy. It's great gothic horror. This is part of her gothic horror line. There's 2 other books in this series that I do own that I want to get to someday. But yeah, I don't see myself rereading this. It is quite a chunker, but it was was a blast, actually. I did really like it, but I'm gonna donate it and somebody else will fall in love with it. And then Dark Corners by Brandon Massey. I did really enjoy this. This is a vampire book, but again, I don't see myself rereading it, and I think I only give it like a 3.5 star. So usually if I'm pretty, like, if I enjoy something, I give it 3 stars or around there. I will usually just unhaul it. Sensibility and Sea Monsters by... Who is this by? Oh yeah, Jane Austen. You know Jane Austen wrote this. I read the zombie one, the Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, like years ago, and I watched the movie. They're okay. They're exactly what you think they are, but I thought this one looked funny, and I think I got it at the thrift store or something. But yeah, I don't see myself reading this anytime soon. And then Savage Mountain by John Quick. This is a Grindhouse book, I believe, and I actually got this in Nightworms a couple of years ago, and I attempted to read it and I DNF'd it, and it was like a hard DNF, so I'm unhauling it. World War Z by Max Brooks. You guys know I did not like this. I think I read it back in May and I gave it 2 stars, and I will donate it, but I'm sorry to the person that picks that up and reads it. And then Hannibal by Thomas Harris. I actually have a lot of the Silence of the Lambs series. I think I have these in paperback, or I have these in another hardback. I just have duplicates, so I definitely don't need it. And same with Drawing of the Three. I have this in another format. I don't know if it's a small trade, or this floppy one. Who knows? I have so many King books, and I'm trying to like kind of go through them and get rid of duplicates of things, because also Alex, if he's at the thrift store or something looking for something else and he glances over and he sees a King book, he will just buy it, especially Dark Tower books. So for some reason we just end up with like multiple editions of Dark Tower books. The next book I'm unhauling is The Taking of Jake Livingston. I really enjoyed this when I read it when it came out, but I think it's time to let somebody else enjoy it. It is tough to unhaul this one because the cover is so great for it. But yeah, I think I am gonna try to donate this one. And then All the Dangerous Things by Stephanie Willingham. This is a thriller, and you guys know I don't reread thrillers, so definitely an unhaul there. The Devil in Silver by Victor Laval. I actually have duplicate of this because I'm crazy, and when I see something I will just pick it up and be like, oh, I actually already have that. And then the next book I'm unhauling is Tell Me Everything by Erica Krause. This is a memoir nonfiction book that I read this year. I did enjoy it. I don't rate them, but yeah, I'm just gonna unhaul it because I definitely won't be rereading it. Almost done with the first deck. The Lesser Dead by Christopher Blumen. I did not like this book, and I realized I have another book by him somewhere too that I think I'm gonna unhaul too because I just don't think I'm gonna like it. But anyways, yeah, kind of sad I didn't like this one, and I actually have been recommended some of his other books and I'm like so scared. The Witches by Stacy Schiff, Salem 1692. This is a nonfiction book about the Salem witch trials. I've had this forever. I think it is an older book. I think it came out in like 2012 or so. I think there's a little bit more information out there, even in like some nonfiction books, like All These Truths by Jill something. I think she works for NPR. I read that book when it came out, and she actually touches on the Salem witch trials and has like more information, I feel like, in that book than in this one. And I was like, wait a second, okay, that did not this book did not go into that much detail and kind of talked about some other stuff there, so I feel like this is a bit outdated, but I really like the Cleopatra book by this author as well. If you're looking for some nonfiction historical books, I really like how she wrote that one. I mean, this is good, but it just feels a bit outdated in how it was written. The next book is Lies She Told by Kate Hallahan. As you can see, this is a Book of the Month book, but I don't think I got it from there because it looks really old. It's from 2017, and I did not have Book of the Month until like 2020. So yeah, I think I got this at the thrift store and I'm not gonna read it. Next book is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I don't have Ninth House, so this is an easy unhaul for me. And I just gave this one 3 stars, sadly. Okay, on to the next. A Bunch of Middle Grade is next. So Shivers, you guys know how I felt about this book. I thought it was very rude. What a rude book. I can't believe stuff goes down in that book the way it does. And then I have a bunch of Roald Dahl books. I think I'm gonna give these to my nieces, probably my niece. My nephew's a little too old for these now. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give these to my niece because I don't see myself rereading these anytime soon. I really love The Witches, which I don't even think I have. Oh yeah, I do have here. I really love The Witches is my favorite, I think. And yeah, Matilda's good too. These are all fun for like if you're trying to hit like a book goal to pick up and read because they're super easy and funny. Next book is Merciless by Brian Smith. I've had this for a while, I think like 3 years or so. It came in a Nightworms box. I read it back in the day and I read it before I even knew what extreme horror was, I think. And I was like, this book is really messed up. This kind of reminded me of the Ken and Barbie killer, so it just gave me like a really gross feeling while reading it, even on top of that. And yeah, I don't see myself rereading this anytime soon because I still remember it as if it was yesterday. And then A Black and Endless Sky by Matthew Lyons. I read this for my friend's book club, Lexi and Michelle and Monica's MLM book club, the Pyramid Book Club, and oh my gosh, I hated this book. And it's funny because like time has passed since I read this and I'm still like kind of angry about it. So yeah, definite unhaul. And then another unhaul is Cradleland of Parasites by Sarah Tantlinger. This is the author of Devour. Is it Devour? Oh gosh, I can't even think of it. Another book that I really liked. This is just some poetry that I read around Halloween last year and I did really like it, and I found this at the thrift store, so I feel like I need to like donate it so somebody else can find it. Horror Rama C.V. Hunt. This is actually edited by C.V. Hunt, but there's 3 short stories in this. I forget when I read this. I think I read this, yeah, back in 2020 or so as well. And it's just some short stories and it is a total vibe. And it is tough to get rid of this one because of the cover is a VHS. But I think somebody else will find some joy out of it. The Bat by Joe Nesbo. I found this at the thrift store. I hard DNF'd this. The language was absolutely awful in it. And I was like, this isn't even American. Like, I don't know why that would be an excuse or anything, but I was like, oh, no way. Yeah, I didn't make it through this one. The Shining by Stephen King. This is actually Alex's school edition, and it is very, very rough. So I was like, we can get rid of this one or donate it. And when you teach this one again, you can just get a new copy. The Stranger Beside Me by Anne Rule. This is another situation where I already have this book and you definitely don't need more than one of these books. I have no idea where this book came from. 5 Quarters of the Orange by Joanne Harris. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it's about. The Dark Lake by Sarah Bailey. This is another thriller from Book of the Month that I must have picked up at a thrift store or something, and I will never read it. Adam Novell's Apartment 16. This is part of his series Banquet of the Damned and Small Corners, which I don't, not Small Corners, Small Shadows, which I don't have. Maybe if I had all 3 of them, I would keep this, but this was so tough to get through. I read it last Halloween and it was really rough to get through, and it's huge, and I'm just like, it was okay towards the end too. It wasn't anything special. The Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey. I believe this is a prequel or a sequel to The Girl with All the Gifts, which is a zombie book. And I don't see myself getting to this one anytime soon because I've had it for like 4 years. The next book is Once Night Falls by Roland Merluo. Can I talk? This is a historical fiction. And then you guys, why did I have this still? This is a huge book. It was just taking up space. Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clarke, The Dark Artifices. Book 1. This is huge. You know what? I found this and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this one day when I was a fantasy girly, and yeah, no. Then with Stephen King books too, I have a first edition of Desperation without a dust cover on it, and it as well. That is in the roughest shape ever. So yeah, I'm just going to donate those. If anybody wants attempt to read it, you know, in this condition, and it would be so awkward, but you know, it could happen. And then I have no idea where this came from. Poets of Reality. Okay. Oh, okay, we're coming in here towards the end. We're on the last stack. I'm gonna go through these very quickly because actually a lot of these are books from Garb August. Yay! Starting with the Kuntz books by Kuntz. I'm not glad I read those now. 22 Hollowfield by Doris Sheffield. That one sucked. This was a hard DNF. This Bentley Little book, The Summoning. I know I have another John Saul. Here it is. By John Saul Books. This one I debated on keeping, but the cover isn't that great because of this price thing here. So if I see this in another edition, I will pick it up because it's a cool cover and it's a creepy doll book and I enjoyed it. This Poor Edgar Allan Poe little paperback short story collection is not in the greatest shape, so I said bye-bye. The Dark Half by Stephen King, again, not in the greatest shape, and I already have another copy of this. Interview with the Vampire, same thing. I already have probably more than one other copy than this. While They Slept by Catherine Harris. I have no idea what that is. And The Cell by Stephen King, same story. I already have it in a different format. And then this one is kind of tough to get rid of, Lord of the Rings. I read this when I was in my fantasy phase, and I absolutely loved it. I did love the series. It is iconic. It is an iconic series, but I definitely would just do the audio next time instead of reading it physically. And yeah, I might just give this to Alex too because he loves Lord of the Rings more than me, and I don't think he's actually read the books, or if he has, it's been forever. And this is a cool bind up too. I really like that bind up. And then Chuck Palahniuk books that I had no idea I had. This is literally the same book in two different formats. Diary. Cool. I'm glad I had those. The Necromancer's House by Christopher Blumen. This is the other Blumen. Actually, this looks kind of cool, but I actually couldn't find any audio for it. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna physically read that if I do end up reading it. Freedom by Jonathan Franzen. You guys, I was a Jonathan Franzen fan. Like, I love Jonathan Franzen books. The Corrections, is that his like other famous book? So good. Like, this is great. Great contemporary stuff happening, and it's so funny because there's like an Amy Poehler joke about this in Parks and Rec, and I saw that right after I read it too, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just read that. I love this book. I also love The Corrections. Will I ever read these? Probably not, though. Sign Here. You guys know how I felt about this in my August wrap up. I did not like it. So I'm unhauling. And then the last two books are these Mr. Mercedes books. I don't know why I said it like that. Oh no, I'm really worried about this Game Boy on the back. Like, what? Anyways, if I do get these, they'll be in a different, like, paperback, floppy paperback condition. These are old library books, as you can tell. So that is it for this unhaul. Again, check out Zinff Optical in the description box down below for your discount of 25% off. And let me know if you guys have unhauled any books recently or what have you been reading. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye!